All right, so let's jump right in. And today, I wanted to go in and start on something with an important topic because of the things that are going on in the world. And so today, I wanted to bring up the concept that your mindset can create your reality. The way that you think and perceive things can work for you as well as against you in the things that happen in your life, or the way that you view and the way that you actually decide to live your life. So right now there's a lot of things going on, and I'm not going to try to explain or downplay any of it. However, I want to do my best to help you guys to inspire and help you kind of view things in a new light. Because even though we have a serious virus going around, more contagious and more deadly than that is the panic that is created. So I'm starting off here, and I'm going to show you guys some simple shapes. And from these simple shapes, our mind is going to fill in a lot of gaps. So, from these shapes right here, take a look and let me know what you see, no matter which way this is. And I can guarantee you that 80, probably 90% of people will see at least the starting of a skull. Now, I'm not trying to go into, what is more interesting or people that like different types of things. I'm using the skull here in a sense of symbolizing negativity, hurt, pain, death. And the thing is that when we look at things, we automatically assign certain meanings. So you may look at this, and even though we don't have an entire picture, you guys have already created one, or at least begun to create something. So what I found is that going towards, whenever we hear things, people go towards the negative first. It's almost like we have a paved superhighway to negativity, but we have a dirt road going towards happiness. So we find it a lot easier to complain, to blame other things, instead of looking at the bright side. And then going along with that, whatever it is that we decide to believe in, whether this is a good thing or this is a bad thing, we will always search out and find reasons to back it up. So if I get a new job, if I'm turned down for a new job, if I believe that I was screwed over or I should have gotten a job, then I will accept that, and I will start finding reasons of why they let me go, why they didn't give it to me, why they didn't let me have it, or why I failed. Whether I want to look at that as on the outside of it's their fault, they didn't give me the job, they should have given me the job. Or I can look at it internally as I didn't do good enough, or that job, I wasn't good enough for the job, I didn't meet the qualifications, I had a bad day. And all of that is just things that our mind creates. And then, going with other things that happen in our lives, there's also the idea of the things that happen that we hear from around us, whether that's people that are around us, whether that's the news, And they are giving us their own version of information. And if we have a belief to where something is missing or this is a bad situation, hearing all of these other opinions and ideas from all these other areas is just going to build up all these ridges. It's just going to build up and help you to see more of this skull that didn't even start out as a skull. And because of the fact that you're looking at it in a negative view, you just keep finding more and more negativity in it. And you keep seeing more and more ways of things getting worse and worse. Until it more clearly defines a skull. It can turn into a downward spiral. So what I want to do for you guys today is to help you guys think in a different way and to look on the positive side of things. There's going to be a lot of things that happen in our lives, and you can either, you have a choice of what you assign to meanings. So you can look at everything as life is happening to me or against me, and I didn't get that job because someone's trying to shut me down, or they're not doing, it's because I'm a certain way that they don't want to offer me the job, or I'm not good enough. Or you can look at it as a positive life and say, you know what, that job wasn't right for me. And maybe next week I'm going to apply to another job that is just going to be amazing. And I'm going to love so much more. But yet if I wouldn't have gotten fired from that other job, I wouldn't have been given the opportunity that was right for me. Now, something personal that happened a couple years ago when we had issues with the house, we had flooding, and my studio room and my bedroom were having water issues. And so everything had to get cleaned out. And you could I could easily look at that as so everything going against me or not working for me. But I decided, how can I look at this on the bright side? How can I look at this as this is happening for me instead of against me? And I said, you know what? There was a lot of things I needed to clean out and get rid of. I also, since I emptied out both rooms, I was able to rearrange it in a way that worked a little bit better for me. So it's a matter of perspective and how you can look at things. So what I'm doing now is, because I said that we initially look at all the negative things, and so when we first saw these shapes, even though, let me go over them, even though they were drawn in as just simple lines, we automatically looked at them and saw them as negative shapes, as actually pressed in. But what if you were able to take a look at these and look at them in a new light and look at them as raised edges or positive? And what we're going to do here is we're going to change the perspective and look at things in a new light. So here's another few examples that are a little bit lighter than what's going on in the world today. Have you ever talked to somebody and they were kind of really loud? You felt like they were yelling at you or yelling towards you. Automatically, when someone raises their voice or they're talking a little bit louder to us, how do we feel? We kind of get a little bit on guard and kind of a little set back, because who is this? Why are they yelling at me? And you get that feeling. However, what if that what you found out and you got to know that person a little bit better and just realized that they are more of an energetic person and that they always talk loud. They just are one of those people that is constantly being loud. It gives you a little bit different of a perspective now, because even though the same situation has happened, you're taking it in a different way, and you're putting a different meaning to it. The same thing happens if, let's say, you're supposed to meet up with somebody, whether that's a friend or that's a date, and they're not on time. They're 5 minutes late. They're 10 minutes late. What does your mind first go to? For most people, the first thing, especially if this is somebody new and not somebody you've known for a while, you start thinking, they must be blowing me off. They don't want to see me. They don't want to hang out. They didn't even have the courtesy to kind of tell me or call me that they're going to be late or that, they're not going to make it. And so you have all of this anger that automatically comes in. But then tell me, what happens if you learn that they were in an accident or something happened to them and they weren't able to make it? In an instant, you change your perspective and you start seeing things in a new way. So with that is what I am trying to share here. I'm going to give you guys a new perspective to kind of look at things. That way, when you see the panic that's going on around right now, when anything, this isn't just for what's happening right now. This is for everyday life, because we're always going to have things that are coming at us and changing and happening against us or for us. And I'm going to help you guys to take a moment and really think and change your perspective of things and look at it in a new light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep playing with this and kind of drill out the shape and create a new image. So I'm going to speed things up, and then we'll jump back in and talk a little bit more about what I did with this. So here you go. Looking from above is one perspective, and that is one way of seeing things. However, if you look at things from a different point of view, what I tried to create here is an ocean landscape with like a couple mountains or islands and then a couple sailboats kind of sailing through. However, we only see that because we took on a different perspective than was originally shown to us. So the purpose of this is to help you guys to look at things in a new light. And with everything that's going on today, you can either look at things in a negative side, and this isn't going against, I'm not saying that it's not a serious issue. However, I am saying that you can make it better or worse. The situation at hand with the virus and everything, you can do your best to protect yourself. However, on a global scale, there's nothing that you can do. You can't fix it. And so worrying about it and taking all that in isn't going to help you any. So how about trying out, looking at it in a new light? Instead of saying, I can't do this now, and I can't go here, I can't go there, and now I'm all locked up. or, I have to take extra precautions with, being clean. How about you look at it and say, well, I can't go out and I can't do this, but I can spend time with my family. Now I have more opportunities to spend time with my family, with the ones around me. I have more time for myself to think and to figure out what it is that I want to do next, or figure out some ideas or things that have been holding me back, or some ideas for things I want to do in life. Or you can look at it and say, yes, I'm not able to go out and do these things, but now I can take some extra care of myself. You can look at it and say, oh man, I have to take all these extra precautions, and all these extra cleanliness things. Or, you can look at it and say, this is just a moment of time. This is something that we are going to overcome and get past. And yes, it is a lot of extra precautions, but how about I take it on the side that it's a blessing that I only have to do it in these situations. With some of the families that I connect with and work with, I have SMA families that staying clean and super protective is an everyday life. Part of everyday life. A little cough or a little cold around their children can be a life or death situation. The same thing goes with the cancer moms and families. So basically, yes, there's a lot of things going on. However, that is how life is. That is how the lifeline, when you get your heart checked out, they have that squiggly line. It has ups and downs, and that's how life's going to happen. And you just have to believe in yourself that you're going to overcome the battles, and that you're going to take on the challenge and say, yes, this is happening. How can I use this as something to overcome? Or how can I look on the positive side? Because if I keep looking on, saying, what, instead of saying I don't have this, I'm going to say I'm blessed and I'm grateful because I had the opportunity to wake up this morning. And now more than ever, there's a lot of people that don't have that opportunity. I can look at it and say, what, I have my family around me, or I have friends, or I have people that I get to spend a little bit extra time with that I don't want to say I may have been neglecting, but I might have been neglecting and not spending and not being fully present. I'm going to take this opportunity to fix that. You could, dig a little bit deeper into yourself. And I believe that when you fill yourself with looking on the positive side and saying, how can I use this? How can I overcome this? How can I look at it as life is happening for me rather than against me or to me? That you're just going to be able to fill yourself with a lot of gratitude, a lot of positivity, and that's going to catch wind and just bring you on an upward spiral, as opposed to thinking, I don't have this, I'm missing this, which is just going to catapult you down into a downward spiral to where you're just going to keep getting more upset and more depressed and locking yourself up. So hopefully that has made sense, and I know I kind of went in a few different directions, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys are getting a little bit out of this. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And if there's any of you guys that are struggling with anything in particular or any obstacles that you're fighting, I would love to do some sculptures for you guys and just use them to help you illustrate and give you a new way to see things so that you can use some of these techniques to help you overcome any of the obstacles you guys have going on. Thank you guys for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you guys next week.